Well, we're back. It was a long day yesterday. Thankfully, we had help for a few hours. Got a beautiful barge going by this morning. The river looks amazing. We've had several bass boats go by. There's apparently a bass tournament today. But I have said for 2 videos in a row, hopefully I'll make it to I almost said it. OSB today. Hopefully I'll make it to OSB today. Well, guess what? Today's that day. I didn't have enough steam left in me yesterday. We're gonna slam down some OSB today. We've got a few things to get done first, but OSB is going on that floor system today. Let's get this day going. Okay, you guys saw me putting a bunch of those self-tapping screws into the J brackets that self-tap into the octagon plates. I didn't see a need to show you guys me filling up those plates. To give you an example of what I'm talking about, you guys saw me in the couple videos back, I believe, I put 4 self-tappers in each J bracket. It requires 8. The bracket even states it. I just get that ledger board on there. Hey, I called it the right thing per a comment. Man, you guys are dirty. And you can see over there, 8 self-tappers, 8 self-tappers, 8 self-tappers, 8 self-tappers. So I got those screwed the rest of the way off. Now what I've got to do, a lot of people put bridges or the X boards that keep your 2x12s, your floor joists from twisting. Since I'm putting 3/4 tongue and groove on top, what I'm going to do is screw a 2x4 right out there off the edge of the crawl space entrance. And I'm going to ensure all these floor joists are on 16-inch centers based off the bottom / top. Make sure they're good and straight. Screw them off, the 2x4s to the bottom side. Those are going to be my bridges or my cross boards. And then I'll start putting plywood on top. So let's get some 2x4s installed. Well, there you have it. 2x4s in place. You guys can see them right there and over there. That's roughly 10 feet, and then I'm essentially the same distance off the edge. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is a crawl space, so I'm not worried about those 2x4s being on the bottom. The reason people put X's in there inside the floor system is because the bottom is typically finished, or it's a basement and you can't have a bunch of boards hanging off the bottom. So that's why most people put the X's in there. But since this is a crawl space, it's not going to be finished in there. At some point in time, I got to put a vapor barrier down, but I got all kinds of plumbing to do, yada, yada, yada. Vapor barrier can come last. I'm not that concerned about crawling around down in there for a half hour putting vapor barrier out. So 2x4s are in place. The next step in the process, I've got one floor joist that I obviously, while working by myself yesterday, I got off on the 16-inch centers by about half of an inch. So I don't like that one board. I'm gonna take the nails out of it, move it over. The next step is to start flopping some plywood up here. Let's get this joist fixed and get some plywood on top. All right, this first board is highly, 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 highly important for multiple reasons. This sets the stage for how straight and square you're going to be. But when working with ICF, and when your subfloor ends up taller than your lock mechanism, you have to pay especially close attention. If you guys look right down in there, I know it's kind of a shadow effect, but you see how I'm holding roughly 1/8 of an inch off of that wall. I can go more if I wanted to. You can really see it over here where it's got a 2x4 running parallel with it there. That's a good gap. What that ensures is when I stick my next level of ICF on here, I have 0 resistance with this piece of plywood. If I had resistance when I tried to put that block on there, it can kick your wall out. It can make your locks not fit in place properly or perfectly. So you gotta make sure if your subfloor is above your ICF wall, you gotta pull that plywood over. You gotta make sure that it is not touching ICF. There has to be a gap there. Just wanted to make sure and point that out. I'm gonna do some small critiques to this because this is the most important board. Pull some measurements, make sure that I am straight and square. And we're gonna start laying some OSB down. Well, I'm sure you guys saw me getting aggravated there on time lapse. I had one spot I had to cut the tongue off. That was the top sheet, and where the strap went around it, it had the tongue so screwed up it wasn't going to go together. Rest of it went together very nicely. That seam came out really nice. I am alternating my seams. For those of you who don't know what that means, that's an 8-foot board. That is almost an 8-foot board. So now that seam and this seam, I don't have a whole bunch of nails, because when you nail a joint, you're back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I don't have a whole bunch of nails on that one joist all the way across. So now it alternates, and there's two floor joists in between. So I feel pretty good about that. Wanted to hop on here, give you guys an update. I've made it all the way over to the crawl space access. I do have to put one strip in here. I was trying to trim this out, and the daggone blade spun out on me on the skill saw. So I gotta go grab the other skill saw. And yes, of course, it is all the way up there. So we'll be right back. Sometimes you get lucky and your little buddy shows up. My little buddy ain't so little. So I got it almost done, and
just call me Blister.
And my little buddy calls up and he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm working on putting subfloor down." He's like, "You want some help?" Absolutely. So he's going to help me he's going to be the cut man. And obviously he just installed that one too, but I'm going to get him the dimensions, and he's going to cut the stuff over there so I don't have to pack the full boards all the way over here like I've been doing.
That's why he's so skinny.
There you go. There you go. So this is Ryan. This is another one of my, oh boy, we go way back.
Yes.
We go way back. So, you know, a lot of you guys have commented, it's really nice to have good friends from your childhood. Well, this is another one. And we're all just hard workers is what it comes down to. We put the sweat equity in, and Ryan knows that if he ever needs anything, I'll be there for him too. Oh wait, I've done that already. Yeah. So it's just kind of one of those things.
I'm paying it back now.
That's right. So also, we'll get some details. The more Ryan shows up here right now, this video is already probably too long because I've time-lapsed this entire thing, and it's like, oh my gosh, 4 minutes worth of time-lapse? That's a very long time-lapse. So we'll give you some details on Ryan in regards to his singing.
Oh.
And yes, that is factual, but we'll get to those details as we progress into Ryan being here more and more. Let's get to the rest of this floor installed. The last piece of the first floor system. it is. Nice. Where might my nip? Ready? That's good. That's the floor system.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I don't know if you guys got to see the last piece or not because the GoPro. Something about SD card, but yeah, if I turn, bless you, if I turn it off and turn it back on, the SD card's fine. So but as you can see from the screen on the backside, which they can't see, it's been through some wars. It's cracked. The thing that made me the happiest, bless you, thing that made me the happiest, you guys remember me saying you've got to hold off the edge of your ICF. You got to stay at least a quarter. Make sure you're not going to cause yourself headache later. And I was going to pull some dimensions because this first sheet is what really matters. Get it square and straight. Every one of those cuts had to be ripped length of board. What were they?
27.
Exactly what?
27 and a quarter.
27 and a quarter. And the gap is the exact same all the way down. So that confirms my building is straight, square, and plumb. I like it. Floor joist went in great. Next step is to start stacking the ICF 11-foot tall wall all the way around, which will go all the way up to that red line you see there, and get that poured to then do this all over again 11 foot higher in the air. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, like, comment, subscribe.